Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to look at a simple day trading strategy to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies using our Gann swing indicator. So this is based on Gann rules. It has been tested over 100 years there. Over 100 years of data using the swing indicator. And this has been widely successful for me for over 10 years of my trading. And I know many other traders that have also used the swing indicator to help them identify the trend of the market and also take more profits from the market based on the trend. So it's a trend following system. It's very important to have our stops and a plan for this type of trading because we're going to go long and short in the market. So let's take a look at this particular trading system structure. If you want to learn more, if you want to know more, I've left some links in the video description for the Gann swing indicator, including an instructional video about that particular indicator. But in this video, we're going to look at the plan, look at the back tested results for a period, a section of the market there, and look at the percentage return that this particular plan resulted in. So in this plan, we want to use this just as some day trading profits. Now, it can be expanded across any time frame. We're looking at it on the hourly, but you can also put it onto a 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever time frame suits your trading, and across any market as well. It can be cryptocurrencies, any of them. It can be any stocks, basically anything with a chart. There is obviously going to need to be other testing done if you choose to move this plan to different markets because all markets behave slightly differently, but the rules of the swing chart remain the same, and it's just a matter of using that tool on different markets and then learning how it works on those markets. All markets are made up of people, and some people behave slightly differently. So that's what we're looking at for today's video. This will be a wildly successful tool for you to use. It has worked very, very well for me for over 10 years now. This is when I started my trading about 12 years ago, learning this specific indicator, the Gann swing indicator. So a couple of things that we want to do with this. This is for the shorter term profits, but I think it's also important to have a longer hold strategy. Now you can use this on a longer term system as well to be getting in and out of some of those bigger profits. But of course, take the tool and use it as you wish. The trading system does require leverage to go long and short. So I stress that you should have a plan and use stops. Definitely have these two things. I've also left the link to Bybit and BitGet in the video description because you will need a trading software, trading platform that allows you to go long and short. But I always stress, definitely have a plan in place and start with a small amount of capital that you are willing to lose as education. If you want to make this a long-term success, there does need to be a lot of practice that goes into it. So the link to Bybit's down there, up to $4,000, just over $4,000 of sign-up bonuses, and also BitGet for the US users, up to $8,000 of sign-up bonuses. So we're going to start on the Bitcoin chart here, looking at the Gann swing indicator. Now I make a quick mention, the quick shills about likes and subscribe. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as you'll be updated with more of this particular strategy used in the update videos for cryptocurrencies when I'm trading altcoins and of course Bitcoin as well. Like the video as it does push it further into your newsfeed. So the the Investor Accelerator education that we have here, that's the Gann swing indicator. Like I said, this is based on over 100 years of data using this swing indicator. It was invented by Gann over 100 years ago. It still remains true to this day, as you'll see in this video. Wildly successful, great profits here. What I'm going to do is use this little star to indicate the entries. I'm going to use this little horizontal line to indicate the stop losses because we're going to be trailing those stops as well. So I'm going to make it as simple as possible, especially for new people. Now, in this swing indicator, we can just go up into these settings and the background colors here. You can see we've got the green and the red. We can just bring them up a little bit so that you can see them in the background. These are all the different things that you can adjust on this indicator. So I'm not going to make it too bright, otherwise you won't see anything. But essentially, let's leave it at that. There's the greens, the blacks, and the reds. So it'll all become a little bit more clear later on. But I've got the results here on a spreadsheet. We can look at that in terms of profits, in percentages, and then also the win-loss ratio, because that is something that is really important when it comes to your plan. If you have a low win and high losses, you need to have bigger rewards. And that's what we'll see with this particular plan. It works very well for that. But you have to be able to stomach some of the losses. I know I've talked a fair bit about this, but trading is a ton. It has a ton to do with the mental game. And I'll talk about some of the challenges with this and also how to overcome those challenges. So let's crack on with the entries and the exits. Now, I'm going to start from this little zone right here. So let's take a look at a few trades and how this will work in real time, and then we can go through and look at the results. So as I said, we're starting over here. Here is the entry on our swing chart. You can see as the market turns down, we enter when the swing is broken, and then for our stop loss, we put it at the top of the previous swing. So this is for a short position. We'll flip it in reverse for the longs. So as the market continues, another top is created, and all we do then is bring the stop loss down. So we're basically reducing our risk every time we get a swing in the market. So at first we're about 2% risk, then we come down to 1.8% risk, and next we're down to 0.71% risk. So we would then move these stop losses. So you'll need to be active when you're trading this sort of system. So we move that all the way down, and then we can see here on this bar, 1st of July at the 9 a.m. bar, based on my own time zone here, this then breaks the swing and we make a loss. So I like it because, I like starting here because this gives you a signal that nothing is 100%, you're never going to make 100% wins, and you got to stomach these losses. And they can go on for a little bit of time, but the wins can also be quite big. So that's a 0.71, you can see this was the entry. We got stopped out here, this is 0.71. Of course, this doesn't take into account any slippage if the market doesn't fill you at that exact price, but that is just something that comes up in trading as well. So you've got to pay attention to those sorts of things. So you want those wins to be quite substantially bigger than those losses in case of any slippage as well. That's something that we can't factor in at this point because it's something that happens on all exchanges as well. So now we are out of the short and we're in long. We're going to flip it, okay? We're going to go long. So put the stop underneath the swing. We'll put the star back up here because that's the entry. You can see this little pink indicator. So if you are using this tool, it's just up here in the settings, break line. It even shows you this. This is the fantastic setup for this tool. It shows you the breaks, the entries, and those stop loss areas as well based on that swing. So I've changed it to pink. I've got a right hand arrow so you can see where it is. As for the swing indicator, I've got this yellow line here, and then I can make it thicker as well if you want to see the thickness on the swing indicator. That'll just increase there, okay? So let's leave it at that. Now we've entered where this star is. The stop loss was down here. Now you can see a swing has been put in a little higher, so we're going to move the stop loss, which means now we're in profit. So we can see following these next few bars, we get exited out here on the next bar here at the 8 p.m. bar, and that is basically the market. We're now out of the market. We're in short again. So you look at the percentage return here from the entry to that stop loss point, 1.3%. So again, we do the same thing. Here is the entry. Now we have the stop loss. We're in the market. We've got another swing top. It's getting lower, so we move it down. We move our stop loss so that we start to reduce our risk. Again, just as a quick understanding, we were at a risk of 2.48%. Now we're at a risk of 1.85%. And as you can see, the next swing here is at 1.19%. So we've reduced our risk by quite a lot here, about half. So we move that stop loss. And of course, you can see that the market then stopped us out. We had to flip and go long. So we're always in the market. And we've moved that up here. That's the entry. Move this back down here. That is the stop loss. And now we have a small loss again, and we're in long. All right, so now we have to flip these around. You get the idea. Entry, this is the stop loss. This is the now entry. We've gone long. We have another swing bottom coming here, and then we're stopped out here. So there's another loss. So let's move across and just do these a little quicker because you're starting to get the idea of how this will work. And you can see that some periods of the market are not good for trading, while other periods are extremely good for trading. This happened to be a profit, but these ones can be quite hard to pick up on very quickly. So the bad periods to be in the market are these churny, choppy, sideways periods on very low volatility, so very short price ranges. And we're getting a chopping of in and out. So we're in, now we're out short, and we are entering the market at this low because we made a loss here. We're moving our stop loss down to the high, to the next high, and we basically made a tiny profit here. So that was the entry. There is the stop loss. It says negative, but remember we're going short, so it's only a 0.06% win. You'd basically scratch it off as a break even. So now we're going long again. The stop goes underneath, the entry is above, and we just continue to track the market up and up. This again, you're out for a small loss because we've been able to reduce the risk every time we're able to move this stop loss up. All right, there's another chopping here, another loss, and you can see that this whole choppy sideways period is just forming some more losses, and I'll show you that in the spreadsheet in just a minute. So we're just getting through the first few days here. We're going to the 10th of July, but we've got about 20 trades to look at. So again, here's our stop loss. You can see that we've now entered long, and we finally make a win. So we had a few small losses of about 1%, and now we have a win of 0.5%. So it's from the top to this bottom. Once we're made our profit, we go short again, and from this low to this high, another tiny profit. All right, so at least we're not making too many big losses. We're making very small losses, able to reduce our risk, and then when the wins come, these ones have been small, but like you saw before, we had quite a big win over on this part here. But now we're about to make some more big wins. And I think it's important to test this over multiple periods of a market so you can figure out whether it is going to be an actual profitable strategy in any market condition. If it's not, then you'll have to make some changes to it. But you can see the market conditions here were basically choppy sideways. We had a bit of a push up, a bull. Then we had some choppy sideways and down, made some small losses rather than big losses. And now we're starting to get a trend on to the upside, and we've got the green in the background. Something else to note here. So now we start to flip. We have an entry to the upside. We move this to the stop loss. This is the big one of the many big ones. Entry. All right, the market moves up. We have a higher low form. Put the stop loss underneath. Stop loss goes underneath again. Stop loss goes underneath again. And then finally, the market breaks down. We've made a huge profit. I know it only says 5 points something 09%, but remember, this is traded on leverage. You might be 2x, 3x, 10x. I know many of our traders look at 10x because the risk is so small. The risk here is 0.53. That's really, really, really important to understand because people are scared of a 10x leverage position, but remember, it's only 10x the risk that you have here, and that's 0.5. So 10x would be 5% loss on your account if this trade didn't work out. The upside, 5%, so this is going to be a 50% win, all right? That's the important thing to note here. So now we flip again. Our entry, we're going short. So we exited the long and then enter the short. The stop loss remains above. The entry is right here. We get a little swing in the chart down here. Move the stop loss. Guess what? We get stopped out for a profit, and we took a chunk out of the middle. This is the beauty of this. It's amazing. All right, so there's the top 2.83% win, meaning if you're on 10x, it's a 28% leverage position. All right, with a stop loss here of 1.43%. So it could be a 14% stop loss if you're on that 10x. Note that because it's really, really important to understand the possibility of those losses. All right, if this doesn't suit your plan, then you'll need to make some adjustments in this. But you can see from that 1.4%, we made 2.8. So we did a 2-to-1. 2-to-1 win, meaning we would win 2 times the amount that we were prepared to lose. That's something that is also important when it comes to this sort of trading. So we just go on and on. We're at the 6th. You can see here, we've made another profit. We entered as the market flipped. All right, there's the entry. Move the stop loss up and up and up, because remember, there's been no breaks to the downside, and we can see that because the pink arrows are all at the top. All the swing tops keep breaking. Note, there is another big thing here you can do as you improve, is you can keep entering positions as the swings break, because you're entering on the upside. You're entering with the momentum. So you just keep building this bigger and bigger position. Of course, the risk increases, but this is how you make those massive gains. So the stop moves up, the stop moves up, the stop moves up, and look at this. We got a pink arrow here, which means we have to exit the position. So we entered here, we exited up here, 4.08. If you're 10x, that's about a 41% win on that trade. So that took a fair bit of time, but you got there. The next one, you're entered short, and then it breaks again, so you lose that position quite quickly. So this is the short that loses 0.5, 10x, that's about a 5%. And now we are at the 7th, so we have a few more trades to go here. The market moves up and we make, again, a small loss right here, but then we have to flip because we're always going long to short. And then we move up from this point and we exit when this pink line here is shown. So we would exit at this swing bottom. There's another 5.2%, or if you're 10x, 52% profit. Remember, there were small losses in here of 5s and 1 to 5%. So there's multiple of those, but then those wins come in, and because we're trading with the trend, we get some pretty good signals to the other side. So you can see that the choppiness starts again. We get a few losses, and we're going to end it here at about the 10th of July. What does this mean? What are the challenges? This is, we are in the market long and short all the time, and we'll look at the challenges and how to overcome those challenges. So remember, if you are interested, check out the links in the video description to learn more about this. A shameless shill plug here. We do have a masterclass coming up to learn this in more detail. It's something that myself and my brother Michael have used for over 10 years in our own trading. So there's going to be a more detailed masterclass on trading this particular type of system. So if you are interested, link to that is in the video description. And there's also a $100 off code if you want to drop your email address to our newsletter. So that will come out in the next 24 hours for that $100 off code. So make sure you have your email address in if you want that. This is what we're looking at in far more detail on our in our group, the TIA membership. The swing indicator, you guys can pick up yourself. You don't need to be a member to get that, and also leave a link in the video description. And of course, you'll need to be trading on leverage. So definitely have a plan. Do not trade without a plan. I don't want to see you wiped out, but I want to show you how it is possible to make profits in these markets. And of course, there's Bybit and BitGet for the US guys down below in the top of the video description. So let's have a look at what this looks like in terms of the results. I know I went through a lot of those quite quickly, but I didn't want to bore you too much. So the results here, that first one, we had a loss, 0.71%. Win, loss, 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 6 in a row. Then we had a few big wins in a row, more losses, big win, more losses, and then a small win here. And you can see all the losses are extremely small because we are able to do that using the swing indicator. That is a key critical piece of this puzzle. Now the wins 7 out of 20, losses 13 out of 20. We can do a lot more testing, of course, and I would say go and do that. But just to give you an example of how easy this is, 12.31%, but if you're on the 10x, of course, it's 121% in those 10 days. 121% just looking at this particular section of the market. And this particular section of the market was just these 10 days. You can see I've used this choppy sideways period to show both sides of the market. Yes, the upwards trend did work in our favor very, very well, but this overall has been trading in a sideways range in Bitcoin. You guys would know if you've been following this for about a month. It hasn't gone anywhere significant, only trading between sort of $19,000 and $22,000. So a $3,000 range was able to net 121% within those 10 days. Now, yes, like I said, this is that trend up, but this can you can reduce your risk in these short, choppy sideways periods by using those stops. Even though you're in and out of the market, we noted that those losses came in here at barely 0.2, 0.5% with a couple of ones here. So that is how I'm looking to reduce those losses and make the most out of a boring, choppy sideways market. This system works immaculately well in a clear, defined uptrend, and it keeps you safe in those choppy sideways periods. Now that we have the results of this trading system and how well it works in those clearly defined trends, which is something that we definitely teach a lot about. The trend is so important here. Let's look at the challenges of this system. So it's mentally tough to always be in the market. And I want to add some solutions to this. The solution is to schedule breaks from the market. So we've gone on a run here of 10 days, making some losses, making some good gains, but take a break. This next period would have been fantastic as well because you've got a clear trend going to the downside. Doesn't matter. Unfortunately, you need to take a break because being on all the time really does take its toll on traders. The other thing you can do is use a bot, and you can program a bot to trade like this Bybit has a bot, BitGet has a bot, and if you learn how to trade this system, you can program the bot to do the work for you. You still have to watch it, but there is other ways around this. But needless to say, as a trader, you need to take a break from the market. Now, the other problem I found is periods of many small losses, but they're followed by big winners. So if you have it mechanically set, you're probably going to be okay. But if you're trading this just yourself on the chart, then you're going to need to overcome the mental game of going through this loss, this loss, this loss, this loss, and more losses before you get these massive wins. It sounds too simple, but it does take its toll. So for me, the way I overcome this is keep a journal for the consistency. Note the emotions you're going through when the times are really, really tough, because those big wins will come. I've seen it for many, many years now. I believe it, I've seen it, it happens time and time again. The third one here is the volatility spikes. They're bad for trading, okay? So have a trading plan, but move the stops at the end of the bar. Further testing is required. So what does this mean? Well, that was the first one I looked at in this chart here. So this was the short-term stuff. I don't like these volatility spikes like this, where it just comes out of nowhere, because they tend to retrace without any sort of swing and any way to move your stops up to take advantage of those spikes. So we're able to get in on these spikes, but to take advantage of them. So what I like to do is then just move the stops up. And we specifically looked at this exact example on the channel. So make sure you are subscribed and like the content so you see this. And I said at the time, these spikes probably need to be taking some profits on the way up, especially if the market just reverses quite quickly, which it basically did here. This is what happens with those spikes. So that's one way to overcome that as well. They're just a few of the challenges that I saw in this type of trading and what I've experienced over the last 10 plus years when it comes to trading. Now, if you found that useful and you want to learn more, drop your email address down below. I'll leave a link to that in the video description so that you can join us for the masterclass we've got coming up this week, and you can learn more about trading a very simple mechanical plan like I've shown you in this video. But if you want to learn more and know more about the upcoming Bitcoin crypto updates, of course, subscribe to the channel, like the content, use the links in the video description for Bybit and BitGet for the US guys, so you can get your sign-up bonuses and start programming your bots to trade systems like this. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you guys at the next video. Till then, peace out.